Okay, guys. My name is John Anderson, and this has been an interactive development session on lessons on how to grow with Amazon. I'll get started in about 2 minutes. Let anyone get into the room that needs to, and then I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, so this has been interactive development session. Uh, the agenda for this is going to be five different things. What different kinds of positions are available for growth in Amazon? What does a PA do on a daily basis here at Amazon, especially in operations? What can you do to prepare yourself to be interviewed? How best to interview for an Amazon promotion? And what if I want to grow outside of Amazon? So first, what different kinds of positions are available for growth? So there are many different roles you can fill if you want to move up in the company. Pretty much, all guys know what a typical PA is. Whether you're an outbound or inbound, you kind of have some idea what their roles are. But there's also other positions like the Tom team. The Tom team, they're the ones that handle the trailer yard movement. So they supervise trailers coming in, trailers coming out, pretty much checking for empties, pretty much everything that involves with actually getting the product into the building and getting the packages out of the building. Learning tier three. A lot of you probably realize that we have learning tier threes, but you might not have known that exactly that what that role is. So pretty much the person that stays up at the desk or nights, I think it's Victoria Casey. Not 100% sure the day shift ones, but you kind of have an idea who they are. And those roles are also tier threes in which you want to move up if you feel like you're more inclined to get into learning rather than in operations. Facilities. Some of you might not know if you don't talk to our maintenance people, but a lot of them actually used to work for Amazon and they used to be tier ones. So pretty much you can apply to be one of them. We actually send you to a school for training for 2 or 3 months. We pay for everything, and if you pass the test, then you can become, facilities position. Whether it's one of either in one of our buildings or one of the new robotic buildings or one of the buildings that are just opening up. Um, IT. Some of our IT associates also were tier ones. So if you actually literally have a IT background or you want to get into IT, you can actually do that also within Amazon just from a tier one position. And then last but not least, but HR. If you're at least been here for 2 years, regardless if you have a degree or not, you can apply to be one of our HR reps. So like if you want to move up in Amazon, there's more than just one way. And it doesn't have to be in operations. It could be many different fields, and there's many different rooms for growth. I tell people all the time, Amazon continually grows. If it's not just in the building that you're in, it's in the buildings that we're opening. So please, if you feel like you are more than just a tier one and want to be more than just a tier one, please sit there and look at some of these opportunities and see which one might work best for you. Next, we're just going to go over what does a PA do on a daily basis. Does anyone know exactly what a PA does? Like first and foremost for Amazon, safety for the area that they're overseeing is our number one importance. I can't stress this enough, but at Amazon, we want our associates to come into work safely, have fun, and then go home in the same condition they came, if not better. Um, Literally, it helps no one if you hurt yourself, and the PA's main job is also making sure none of the associates do the same. PAs handle the staffing and coaching of the area that they oversee. So pretty much, the AMs may give a number for how many associates are going to be in each path. It's usually up to the PA to decide which associates are in which path and where they're actually going. Your manager rarely ever says or even interjects into that situation, mainly because that's one of the few things that a PA has power over. PAs also just make sure they were efficient in any area they oversee. So at the end of the day, we do have benchmarks or rates that we're trying to hit for an area, a department, and a building as a whole. So PAs, one of their main tasks is to making sure that whatever we're doing efficiently. And that goes with the coaching associates that may be lower performing, seeing what barriers they may have so we can remove them, or even maybe even coming up with projects that may help improve the building overall. And then last but not least, the paperwork stuff, like doing audits on the AAs and the process of the area that they manage. So you'll literally see an AA, your PA will talk about all the little type of, checks and balances that we have to make sure that, everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing. It really is a demanding job, and in some buildings, they are actually confused for managers. I know when I was a PA, a lot of people actually thought that I was their manager. It's one of the main reasons why when you guys get the little questions on there, they actually name your manager because a lot of people were getting confused between that and what the PA was. So, all right, we're gonna go to the next one. So, like before you want to become a PA, especially in operations, you need to know what makes a good PA. Literally, like I said, you must be serious about safety. One, associates can't help you if they're hurt. Two, like you don't want to see anyone get hurt. We don't want anyone hurting themselves. We don't want anyone overexerting themselves. We literally want everyone to go home. And like you literally need to have that focus because if we are failing in that, then we are failing at everything else. Necessary ability is availability. We do want our PAs to come to work when they're scheduled. We don't mind they use personal time to leave. We don't mind they use vacation time to take off. And we know that emergencies come up and then sometimes they have to go. But PAs play a very vital role in what we do as a business, and we expect that they can actually show up to work on time every day and stay all day. You must be great with dealing with people. 85% of your job is literally going to be dealing with your fellow AAs. You're going to need to be able to communicate with them in a respectful manner and also be able to get your point across in a clear, concise way. Most of your time is literally just going to be devoted to just talking to them and removing their barriers. And you're going to need to be able to, have these conversations, whether they're positive or negative, to be effective at your job. You also must be great at learning new things and be comfortable explaining the things that you have learned. A lot of times, as a PA and as Amazon as a whole, we literally change things at the drop of a hat. The one thing that is always going to happen in Amazon is going to be change. So you're going to need to be able to either learn new processes, learn new ways of doing what we've always been doing, whether it's better or worse, or whether we're trying out to see if it's better or worse. And what you also need to be able to do is be able to speak on it when needed to. A lot of times your AM may be new, and you're going to have to be the one that's going to be able, they're going to have to be the one to be able to train them up on what you actually do on a daily basis. So having those type of communication skills is vital. Last but not least, you must be organized and be able to cross every T and dot every I. Here at Amazon, the devil is in the devil is in the details. A lot of times, our job can pass or fail based off of one or two small things that might get overlooked. So, like, you very need to be very detail oriented. Okay, on to the next one. What steps should I take to move up? So, what you can do to prepare yourself to move in a company. Just make sure that you're in good standing. You can't have any active write-ups, and you should at least have 15 hours of UPT. The UPT thing sometimes gets weighed, but literally plan at least have 15 hours. That pretty much comes down to the whole a good ability is availability. Please just take notes of all the times you stepped up above your roles in tier one. Literally can just do anything, whether you helped an associate like that was struggling, a new associate, or it could be help your PA clear CE or help your PA solve a problem. It could be literally taking on an area by yourself while they're allowing your PA to sit there and focus on other things. It literally could be like volunteering to be a part of a project in which we are changing something, in which you're going to be the one that's going to give feedback to your AM or PA about how well that process did. Like these are the type of things that just take notes that like we're literally looking for when you go for your interview. Just look up and read about the Amazon leadership principles. It's on the website. I'm not going to show it up here. Give you a chance to look, but like these are the things that we base off of, like what we're going to ask you in these interviews. Like earn trust, have backbone, disagree but still commit, deliver results. All these things are like what Amazon is based off of, and these are what we're looking for as far as leaders goes. I try to tell people that like these principles go all the way up. So like the same questions that they're asking you for an interview will be similar questions they ask me for an interview for your ops when they're trying to go to senior or when the seniors become site lead. We're not like the questions are the same. It's just the answers that we're looking for that determine whether how far you move up in the company. Just make sure that you have an updated resume in your Amazon.jobs profile. So if you have a resume, any point in time, you can come in or email it to yourself or email it to your Amazon address. And we can get that uploaded to your Amazon job profile so that you can just, if you go to Amazon Jobs and you see a tier 3 position that you're interested in, whatever department it is, whatever building it is, you can apply right away, just so that you're not caught off guard. Last thing we want for you to do is see a job. By the time you get your resume uploaded, the job gets taken down. And if your building has career skills, make sure to sign up for any class you think that can help you grow. If you don't know what career skills is, it's pretty much a program that we had at our building pre-COVID, in which managers would go up and they would speak on different leadership principles or different leadership, techniques that we here have at Amazon, like how to have tough conversations, how to dive deep, all that, so that like if you feel like that might be something you need to work on, we had chances to where managers can sit there and have a class and give you advice on what you can do to get better at it. Last but not least, join a group. So like the Amazon Safety Committee, Amazon Activities Committee, or become an ambassador are all groups that give you a chance to sit there and do stuff that's beyond tier 1 level. If you get a chance to join one of these groups, please do. Like I said, it'll give you one exposure, because then like your manager will have to speak on you as far as whether you get assigned to that group or not. Two, it'll give you a chance to sit there and be a part of some of the behind the scenes things. It might give you ideas on things to help improve morale. It might give you ideas on like these are stuff you can use for stories for when you go for your interview to become a tier 3. Okay. So how to best interview with Amazon? Just make sure you have at least 3 to 4 good practice stories. You don't want to use the same story. So usually what happens in these interviews is you'll be sitting down usually with 2 people, maybe 3. It might be 2 people in operations and 1 person with HR. And then they'll ask you a question based off of the Amazon leadership principles. It's usually about 3 questions, and then you'll get a chance to sit there and give your answer. Um, you do not want to give the same story for all the questions that are asked. So make sure you usually have 3 or 4. You don't need one for every Amazon leadership principle. You literally can just get 3 or 4 and just see how they each relate to each one, to where you have a wide coverage as far as your leadership principles go. Always use the STAR format and make it sound conversational and not robotic. So if you don't know what STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. So that's how you would tell the story. An example would be, this is kind of like the story I gave from when I was going from 1 to a 3. So I said the situation was, and you don't have to. I just prefer you don't start with that, like saying situation was. But what ended up happening was we had a lot of CPTs due out for Team and Mechalift. Um, this was back, like I said, pre-COVID, back in full 5, my original building, and they stabbed me in charge of getting all the CPTs picked and loaded. There was 4 groups that were out picking, and some of them couldn't even process. So they had to literally pick it, come back to the dock, and then slam out and process it. So we had way too many. Honestly, my boss thought it was impossible. But I took on the task of making sure it got done. So what I ended up doing was I ended up organizing all the groups. So literally, I would go out with the team and pick, and when I got done, I would see which CPTs still need to get picked, who was in, what CPTs were in which guns, and making sure that those pickers knew exactly how many picks they had before we were done, so they could drop off and we could get it loaded. Even when we had somehow I had the last CPTs in my gun, I gave my gun to another associate so they could pick it, so we can get the item slammed out in time and get it on a truck. So what ended up happening was, while we had like 160, when we had like 2.5 hours to get it done, we were able to get it done. Not only that, but we were able to get it loaded, trailer released, and sent out 5 minutes to spare. So that's the story in STAR format. And that's the type of story, that's how we wanted to sound. We wanted to sound like you are explaining to us what happened as a boss, no, as an employee talking to their boss, rather than as an interviewee saying something to it. So make sure like you go in there with enough confidence, like as possible. I tell people when you go in there, think that you are all of that in a bag of chips, and that there's nothing that anyone in there is going to do to shake that confidence from you. You do that, and you do STAR format, and you have 3 or 4 good practice stories, you're pretty much already home. Last but not least, just always have a question for the person interviewing you. It could either relate to the position you're applying for, or the person who's interviewing you, or just Amazon as a whole. So, ask them, like, what type of stuff am I going to be dealing with in this position? How long have you been in this role? What advice would you give me if I do get this role? Like, what are the type of things that, like, barriers people face when they first get this position that, I'm going to need to tackle? Or just literally ask, like, I know you've been with the company for a long time. Like, how's growth potential at this place that I'm going to? One, this gives you a chance to sit there and show that you're engaged, that you're actually, thinking about, your spot in this new role already, and literally cements your interview into that person's mind. So, like I said, always come up with at least one good story, one good question, 2 if you want, but don't go any more than that. All right, on to the next slide. What if I want to grow outside of Amazon? Now, some people may not feel like Amazon's for them long term, that we are just a stopgap until they make that next move in their life, and that is totally fine. I tell people we want people to be successful in whatever they want to do, whether it's here or whether it's something else. We're happy for you either way. We're human beings. I want everybody to win. So we do have what is called career choice. So besides just moving up in the company, you can use Amazon as a way to make a better life for yourself and leave your tier 1 role. Amazon will help you study and get a degree in CDL, IT, and computer science, healthcare, paralegal studies, and mechanical and skilled trades. The website here is amazoncareerchoice.com. You can talk to HR. They will literally give you this link and give you more details. We prepay up to 95% of tuition and associated fees up to a yearly max. The yearly max is $3,000 per year for full-time and $1,500 per year for part-time associates for 4 years. funds eligible certificates and 2-year degree programs, and just requires a minimum of 1 year of continuous Amazon employment. So if you've been here for 1 year and you want to get into one of these fields, literally, like, please. I've had a couple associates leave and they go and got their CDL and now they're driving. I have one that left and is in the healthcare field, to become an RNS. Um, and Amazon pretty much helped pay for all of that. Um, and sometimes during either the right after peak, we do the offer. So if you're definitely doing career choice and you definitely want to leave, and you don't think you can come back, we also do the offer, which we pay up to I think $1,000 per peak you worked up till 3. All right. So, any questions? Well, if there isn't any, if there is any, then I'm going to end this stream. And if you do have any questions, you can email me at jonatand@amazon.com, and I can reply to any questions you might have about this. All right. Thank you.